Yes, and good evening to love. So we breathe in and we pay attention to that breath. And we do that to cease our minds from thinking. But thinking will start up again, and that's okay. We're just going to notice it when it does. So breathing in, following the breath inside. And it just takes our focus, taking our focus off of whatever's happened today, whatever might be happening tomorrow, and just holding this space of right now. And as we breathe in, we sense that most centered part of ourselves, that place within us that we feel the most ourself, wherever that's located for you. And we just let the breath go there. And it's about loving ourselves tonight without judgment. Though we may hear judgment in our mind, that's okay. But tonight, we're going to have a date with ourselves. And when I said it's all about the eye contact, now I don't know about you, but when I'm dating somebody, it's a lot of eye contact, right? And I love that eye contact, looking into that other person, seeing them, wondering who they are, and getting that same level of excitement about ourselves, seeing into ourselves and loving that being inside. And this is the best date ever, because you don't have to pretend or do anything different or hope that you're coming across as cool. Because when you date yourself, when you reach down inside and connect to that being that you are, it already loves you. And we get so distraught sometimes when we think about how to love ourselves. When we wonder, how to do that, or am I doing it, or how do I show myself love? Well, how would you show that to someone that you are interested in? And that's one of the ways that you can show it to yourself. So as we breathe in and we contact that special space inside of us, where you feel the most you, just let your breath go there. And feel the excitement of getting to know you. Because that aspect of yourself knows you so well. It knows when you're hiding from you, and it knows how amazing you are. Has no doubt. So as you get to know you, you don't have to be concerned or afraid that you're not going to love you, because you are. And it's about leaning in and learning to trust that part of you inside that adores you. So as we breathe in and go to that part that feels the most solidly like yourself, and you approach that and just notice everything about it that you can. What do you feel there? Is it reaching out to you as you're reaching into it? And we have to move past some clouds of interruption sometimes as we get closer to that space. Because even as we get a sense of it and an awareness of it, and we come closer to it, doesn't mean that the mind quits working. So we have to continue to work our focus, that eye contact. Just like when you're on a date and there's things going on around you. Maybe you're at a table and there's some distractions in the background. And you just focus again on connecting to that person. But that time this person is you. And connecting into that sense of awareness of yourself. And the mind wants to distract a bit from that. Because the mind busies itself with judgments and beliefs and ways of being. And it's not used to unconditional love. And the being that you are unconditionally loves you, and unconditionally loves you knowing everything about you. Everything you've been, everything you've thought, everything you've felt, everything you've experienced. And how can that be that something that knows all about you unconditionally loves you? Something that's so aware of everything, and it absolutely loves you. That can frighten the mind sometimes. Because the mind is all about looking good, looking right, looking correct. And it seems to remember every detail of every time we said something wrong, or we did something wrong, or we thought something. And see, you're not responsible for everything you think. Because the mind is like a recorder, and it remembers all these different connections. It remembers things that people have said. It remembers things that you've thought but didn't say. And the mind isn't what's going to love you. You are what's going to love you. The mind will tell you all the places that you're unlovable. Because it's judging. It's judging everyone else, and it's judging you. And something that works in that manner cannot be that which is going to love you. But you're going to love it. Because it's an aspect of your experience. It's not who you are, but it's an aspect of your life experience. And that's why you're not responsible for every thought. You're responsible only to to that being that's inside of you and working with it to love you. So let's breathe in together into that unbelievable space that is just love. So follow your breath into that centered part of you, relaxing into the fact that it will take over. Your job is to hold the focus. And as a thought comes up, notice that thought, but don't buy into whatever it says. Go past that thought and notice your heartbeat. Notice the energy that's inside of your body. Notice the end of your fingertips. And as you focus on the ends of your fingertips, notice that there's a vibration there. Your focus begins to allow you to notice so much more about you. Contacting the I inside yourself is a matter of focusing. Notice your feet and the temperature of the air around your feet. Noticing your legs and your thighs. Noticing your whole body, your torso, your arms. It's amazing what the you that has always been here and that unconditionally loves you can bring into awareness. You can notice the temperature in the room. You can notice the heartbeat. You can notice the energy in the body. You can notice a rhythm. It's like a beating inside. And it has a certain vibration and pattern and rhythm to it. You can notice if a pet comes in and crawls up in your lap, and you can pet it at the same time as you continue to stay focused on your body. You can notice the walls of the room that you're in and any picture that's on the wall. It notices the rest of what's happening in your home. Maybe somebody's in the kitchen. A car drives by. All these things are happening and are not outside of your awareness. And all these are just portals to the awareness that you are. The eye contact is contacting awareness and consciousness. And that consciousness begins to also notice any thought. It just notices that there's a thought. Doesn't try to engage it. Just notices, a thought came through. Now as you notice the room around you, the color of the wall, the paintings on the wall or a picture, the type of flooring that's there, and then you notice a thought. It's no different. The thought says no more about you than the floor, than the wall. It's an aspect to be noticed of your environment. So you keep noticing that environment. And then you notice that if you're sitting in a chair or laying on a bed, notice the weight of your body, how heavy it feels, how light it feels, how your arm feels slightly different than the weight of your leg. And then release the weight of your body to the chair that you're in or the bed you're laying on. Just release it. And notice the weightlessness. The weightlessness of consciousness. To be aware of your body without being only the body. To be aware of the room. To be aware of thought. To be aware. And that which is aware of all these things is aware of you. And you can shift from being the thought that's aware of consciousness over into being the consciousness. So if you release the weight of your body to that chair, that bed, get closer to that vibration you feel in your body and become not just aware of it. Begin to feel that vibration as yourself. Merge with that vibration. Merge with that energy. That energy that fills your body. Notice your fingertips again by being the energy that is in your fingertips. That energy doesn't have a name. It is the being that you are. Notice that energy in your legs, in your torso. And notice that even though you're aware of all that body, that you're weightless. And that weightlessness is the formlessness that you are. That you're as much the inhale of breath as you are the exhale. That you can be as formless as that. And as you notice that you're that inhale and that exhale, that you can notice your cheek from the inside and from the outside. That you're not limited. And that love is also presence. This formless being that you are, which is present right now on this planet. That vibration that it is that you are, and just feeling that vibration, merging with that vibration, that it is love energy, because it animates the body and it senses through the body. It senses through the skin and the eyes and the ears. It decodes all that data and information. The eyes are lenses, but that which sees is your consciousness. And so consciousness isn't this elusive thing so far from you. It is you. The fact that you see or smell or taste. And if the lenses of the eyes don't work that well, they're still gathering data that's being interpreted by consciousness. Or there's additional data that you hear if you don't see as much, and vice versa. So consciousness isn't a lofty spiritual space. It is the practicality of being alive in your body with whatever functions in your body. The fact that you can reach out and pick up a cup and drink it, all of that is conscious energy function. You've learned how to manipulate energy to be able to pick up a cup, to taste whatever's in that cup, to sense the temperature of it. And yet we don't consider that the use of consciousness. We imagine that consciousness will be seeing something else in the stars or whatever rules we've put on it. The fact that you can taste or smell or see or speak or hear, that you can feel the clothes that you're wearing, that you can feel the vibration in your body, that is consciousness. That's starting to touch and become aware of the love being that you are. Every time you take a sip of water, if your focus is on that, consciousness is interacting in that moment. You're touching into the I am. And that also helps us understand then ability for our consciousness to not be judgmental of us. It sees your thoughts just as a flavor. Here we've been so terrified of our thoughts, or think that we can't be lovable because of a thought, or a thought tells us something. And to your conscious being, that thought is simply the flavor of coffee. The same consciousness that enjoys one food and not another, that allows you to have a preference of taste, is the same consciousness that allows you to prefer certain thoughts over others. But at all points, that consciousness loves you, is you. And when we shift from the thoughts about the coffee or the drink that we're having, and shift to the vibration that's aware that we're drinking, from that space, when we feel, sense, become aware of thought, we can love each and every thought. See, that consciousness that's pumping the blood, that's tasting the coffee or the tea or the water, can taste those thoughts. And then can love those thoughts. It's no different than anything else for it. For you, that vibration, that consciousness, that is you lifetime over lifetime over lifetime, that's loved you, that is the love that you are, cherishes, enjoys all the functions of you, the functions of movement, the functions of touch, just to touch your own skin, the ability to do that, the energy that that takes from that formless being that you are. That's the one that when you're looking in the mirror sees you and adores you. That part of you that feels your heartbeat, that notices the room, that feels weightless, that knows you're everything. Unconditionally loves you without judgment. And all these thoughts that we were like, oh my gosh, I'm not lovable because of something. That vibration inside of you recognizes that's just a flavor. That thought just happens to be in your mind because of an experience that you had. And that vibration that you are knows that's simply no more than a flavor. That it is not who you are. It's just a thought about a past experience from just this lifetime. This being that you are, that is formless, that vibration, goes all the way back throughout what we consider time to source. It's source energy. From the beginning, which always was, and always is, and always will be. And it knows that you are constantly connected to that beginning of all that is. And that tiny little thought is so easily loved. No matter how big it thinks the problem is. To that formless vibration that you are, it's simply a taste of the day. And since consciousness and touching into that formlessness that you are is so simple, because it's not about being the perfect way or being spiritual enough or ascended enough or having worked on yourself enough. It's none of those things. It's taking the focus off the thought and realizing that the ability to pick up a cup and drink out of it is the same use of consciousness. And we recognize we do it all the time. We've just not been noticing that it's working with energy to do that simple thing. And if you did not have the physical ability to pick up something, still being aware inside the body that you have, that's the same. So every time you take a sip or you pick up a pen or you wipe a tear from your eye, you are consciousness. And it is only when that consciousness gives total focus to a thought that you become unaware of the love that you are. So return with every sip that you take. with every pen that you touch, whenever you scratch your own face, the energy that it takes to sense and aware that, to know how hard to scratch or not. All of that is the same wisdom that we look to find spirituality for. So it's not out of any of our reaches if we just sometimes forget to focus. So focus. Begin to know that vibration inside and take the leap from noticing the vibration to becoming the vibration. And when you become that vibration, you've merged with it. From that space, love all your thoughts. And if you forget, then just notice the temperature of the water that you're drinking, or the temperature of the coffee that you're having. And that will bring you back to the formless energy that you are. It's as simple as breathing in and out. You can be that relaxed with you, noticing you're that breath, and knowing from that space, no matter what your thought has to say about you, you can love it. And as you feel that love energy, that's when you begin to recognize, now that's me, not that thought. That thought was never you. You're the one that's aware of thinking. You're the vibration inside your body. And allow that vibration to build and grow and get stronger, and then notice how it feels. In its very natural state, it's loving and non-judgmental. And date that part of you. Show up every time. Get to know yourself from the inside and fall madly in love with yourself.